And a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on a plantation report and how we can actually produce from this raw data into Power BI report. If we look in this particular file, we notice that we do have a column which is dedicated for date, and then we do have the respective plantation product like tongkat ali, banana, papaya, mango, durian. And as we scroll to the right, we have the actual data, we also have targeted data like target tongkat ali and target banana, target papaya, and respectively. So basically in this particular data, we do have the actual report and we also have the targeted report. So basically what my manager actually want to prepare a Power BI report from this given raw data. So basically the requirement is we need to prepare a report which showcases the plantation actual versus forecast. Meaning to say we need like something like a table which shows the actual, the forecast, the difference, and also the utilization, which means the actual divided by the forecast. So based on that, my manager actually wants to know a status, whether it's over or under, overutilized or underutilized. And also my manager wants to create an interactivity whereby he wants us to actually to have a slicer dedicated for year, quarter, and month. So since we do have this raw data, we are given a requirement to actually prepare a simple dashboard in Power BI which caters this particular requirement. So now what I'm going to do is, in this particular file, you need to know where you save this file. So I'm going to go to my Power BI, click it over here. So the first step is we need to click import data from Excel. Why? Because our file is actually located in the Excel format. So that is why we need to actually go to Power BI and import data from Excel, because this is where we click it over here. So once you click it over here, you will notice a box will appear. So you need to make sure you know where you save. I save in documents, the file name is 24th June 2025, and I'm going to press open. Once you press open, you will notice that a box will appear. So you need to know what is the sheet or what is the tab of the particular Excel file. So in this Excel file, my data, the raw data, all this information is located under the sheet called raw data. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to go to this Power BI and click the raw data over here. So we do have raw data. Of course, we do have so many because the data is preview has been conjugated to size limit. When you have so many rows, it will be like this. So it's okay. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just click on transform data. Why I want to transform data? Because I want to do the cleaning. Because my manager wants plantation. Plantation means he wants like tongkat ali, papaya, mango. So what I'm going to do is, I can actually select all these tongkat ali, select until the end. Okay, you have to scroll to the right, select all these, and I can click transform and unpivot. Or another way is, what you can actually do is, you can select this one column, right click and unpivot other column. In this case, when you unpivot other column, it will actually transpose. It will actually make the other columns, transpose the other columns into two separate columns. Meaning to say, when I click unpivot other columns, the other columns will be transposed. It will transform into two different columns. One showing the headers like the tongkat ali, durian, mango, and also targeted plantation. And then we also have the values. So maybe let me repeat one more time. So just say, I want to actually unpivot column. You can actually select all the columns, or you can only select few columns, right click and unpivot other columns. Why I do this is because my manager want to see based on plantation, and not only that, my manager want to see the actual and also the targeted. So what I want to do is, if you notice over here, all this is basically actual because this is the actual data. However, over here, all these are targeted. So what I want to do is, I'll go to add column and click conditional column. Meaning to say, if just say it has the word targeted, when it has the word targeted, it is a target. When it doesn't have the word target, it is a actual. So I'm click conditional column. So over here, if you notice, when I click, a box will appear. So it depends on what name you want to put. So let it be custom. And then what I want to do is, basically this is a attribute column. So I just want to click on attribute column. If attribute column, so I don't want equal. Instead, what I actually want is, If just say the attribute column has the word target, so what is has? Has means contain. So I'm going to click contain. So if just say it has the word target, that means it is a target. It is a forecast. Okay, so it is a target. So if just say the attribute contains the word target, then I can actually write here forecast. Okay, so if the attribute column has the word target, then you should show your forecast. Otherwise, over here I should show your actual. Okay, and I'm gonna press OK, and just like that you will notice, so all these are actual, all these are forecast. Then what I want to do is, instead of the word target, I don't want the word target. Of course, you can actually use mQuery or custom column to separate, but I'm going to use a very simple way. What I want to do is, I'm going to click it over here, and then after that I go to transform and I want to split by delimiter, and then you will notice that a box will appear. I don't want by space because I want to remove the target. So I click here custom, and I'm going to write here target. And just like that you press OK. So when you press OK, so of course it has split the word target. Now what you do is, you need to combine these two columns. So I'm going to combine these two and click merge column, and then I just press OK. So when I press OK, so now we do have a data. However, if you notice, for example, here banana, papaya, mango, over here is correct, but we have a space. So we need to clean the data. We need to trim the data so that there is no space. So I'm going to click this column, and I just want to click on trim so that the data looks clean. Because if just say I never trim, so just say I never trim, and I want to use pivot column to actually segregate the actual and forecast. So what I can actually do is, I can click here, I click pivot column, you will notice a box will appear. The value column is, I'll put here value, and I actually want to calculate the sum. So when I press OK, you will notice the data is not proper, because here you have one group, here you have one group, and then here you have one group, and over here you have one group. So it's not proper. So what you need to do is, basically you need to trim the data so that the forecast and actual can be side by side. Meaning to say, what you need to do is, you trim the data first, so you can trim it over here, and then the next step is, you go to click this column, pivot column, and then after that a box will appear, and then what pivot columns is, it will try to transpose this column into two different header, one header for actual, another header for forecast. And I'm going to use based on value, and make sure that you choose here is sum. Then you press OK. Then it will try to have two columns, one for actual and forecast. So in Power Query, we cannot undo, or we cannot press Ctrl Z. The only way to undo is by removing this feature over here. But what if just say I accidentally close these query settings? So how am I supposed to edit? Well, don't worry, you can actually go to view and click on query settings. So over here you can edit, or you can also have a look on the previous step. So now we do have a data. Here is the date column, here is the actual, here is a forecast. But here I'll try to rename as plantation product, because my manager want to see what are the plantation products. So this is our data. Then I go to home and close and apply. So once I close and apply, eventually the data will be loaded to the Power BI. So it will show us what is the size, how many rows, and so on.